Let's go. Let's go. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. If you guys are watching, if you're not watching, then
Oh,
you totally missed me say that.
what? What if they just have their eyes closed or they're just not clicked on the screen?
Well, they missed it. But
Oh,
still,
well,
if you've come, hey, welcome.
we welcome you anyways.
Welcome. You're welcome at Don't Worry
Ooh,
Wednesday.
thank you.
Um, and cats, you're so nice. Uh, You're getting teeth pulled. Oh my gosh, or you probably got teeth pulled and now you're out of it. Man, oh man, cats, I understand that. That sucks. That's You're
Yeah.
bleeding out. No, don't.
No,
No.
no, don't do that. That's not great.
Keep your
Choose
blood
something
within
else.
you and
hmm
live. We need you in this world, cats. Yes, and
For some
Moonlight,
reason,
yes, you've been welcomed. What's that?
yes, hey, man, for some reason, when you said keep your blood within you, my brain was like, and also with you. as, as, as if that was what we say at Mass, and it is
Right.
not.
It's not, but
Could you imagine?
yeah, right?
Please keep your blood within you, and also with you, Father.
Yes. Yes, perfect. All right, well, welcome
hmm
everybody. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the show we do on Wednesdays. My ear itches.
hmm
Ever get an itchy
I'd get
ear?
that for you. Oh yeah, all the
You ever
time.
get that and it's so far in there that your finger doesn't reach? And then you're like,
Yeah.
and you try a Q-tip and you're like, it still doesn't get there. And you just like sit there and dig for like a long time. Maybe you don't deal with that.
Mm, I got long fingernails, so
Oh,
it's like this for me. I go, oh man, that itches, and I take my fingernail and I'm like, oh, that's sharp, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop. That hurts.
yeah.
And so that's as
Yeah.
far as I get.
Okay. I gotcha. I don't have long fingernails because I bite
Yeah,
them.
no, yeah, you and my brother rub your fingernails down to the bone.
Yeah, that too. That too. And yes, Neon Side, swimmer's
Oh,
ear is a bad idea. That is no fun. Have you ever had swimmer's ear?
swimmer's ear?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Where you get water like stuck in your ear and then it like stays in there and then it
Oh,
gets all infected and then it's like and it like you get this big old
no,
ear infection. You get an
that sounds
infarction.
awful.
You
An
get it
infarction.
you get all
Oh,
infarcted.
swimmer's ear. Oh, no, I've never gotten that, but apparently my wife has.
Yes. It is no fun. It hurts, man. It's like the whole when I got it, the whole side of my head just throbbed. It's like
Hmm.
so bad.
Is is that the same thing as the ear infection you had before, where your whole face swelled up?
Me?
No, okay. No,
Oh,
I was talking
Beyonce.
to
Okay.
Beyonce.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, that's a different thing.
Wait,
There's a hybrid of it.
August quit nail biting, and
hmm
you've got golden advice for those trying to stop it. What's your advice?
Ooh, what's the advice?
I want to know this because maybe I'd like to stop biting my nails, especially when they're all dirty from work and stuff, and there's all this kind
Yeah,
of
that's a
junk in there. Like my fingers turned yellow yesterday
wow. That's a color. Why?
because we were gluing stuff all day, and the glue is like yellow. And
Yeah.
when you're gluing
Right, right.
stuff, you end up with glue drips everywhere, and so you got to clean it all up with a wet rag, and like then the wet rag turns yellow, and then you've got your hands all in there, and
Yeah.
now my fingers were all yellow.
I know the glue you're talking about. I don't think you can do that job and not get yellow fingers.
It's true. It's true. We
hmm
get press-ons, and that'll stop you from biting your nails. I
Yeah,
mean,
Joe, get some
I
press-ons.
think those would probably like hurt my teeth to bite those like that.
Maybe you'll stop. I don't know. Yeah,
Wow.
get acrylics.
Wow. Well, look at all you guys that quit biting your nails. I'm so impressed.
I quit biting my nails too.
You did?
Yeah, I bit them for about a week and I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I
Oh.
stopped. But see, that's not a very hard habit. And my
Yeah,
brother
that's
always
true.
had the habit, like his whole life, when watching him bite his nails.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to do that. It seems stupid.
I mean, seriously though, seriously, I can quit biting my nails anytime I want. I already quit twice
True.
this week.
Wow. You're really
So
good at
yeah.
it. I'm really good at quitting. I do it all the time.
I quit, I quit the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That's it. That's how good you are. That's amazing.
Yeah, like I quit sinning and then I
Hmm.
had to go to confession
I get it.
again. Like
Yeah. Like 2 hours later, right?
yeah, exactly. I do remember one
Um,
time I went to confession and it was hilarious. I went to I went to the priest and I was like, "Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been 2 days since my last confession."
that's good. That's
And,
good.
and he looked at me and he was waiting for just like a little short list, but it wasn't. It was huge. And he was like,
Oh, no. Wow.
"Because
Wow.
one thing I seem to be really good at is sinning."
Hmm. Yeah. One of these
Uh,
days you're just gonna have to stop that. But you know
Stop
what?
it.
It's not your fault.
It's not
I
all
mean, it
my
is your
fault.
fault. It's not all your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So
Some of it is
anyway,
your fault.
yes. Yes. When you consciously make the choice, then yeah, that's your
Hmm.
fault. But so anyway, so this is Don't Worry Wednesday, and we are here to talk about stuff that you give us to talk about.
Which,
We have one topic from, I think it's anonymous, right?
hmm, that's
And it
right.
was a question for Neonsai, and we actually have Neonsai
Hmm.
with us today, so we can do this
Yes.
topic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we shall.
Which would be
I'm
really
actually
cool.
gonna give this question over to you through Discord, I think.
Yep, it's
Oop,
just you,
oop.
Neonsai. Just you.
Okay. And I'm sorry you're listening to Joe's audio being probably quite off
What?
from mine. I just realized later I could probably give you some headphones, but here we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, well, yeah, this will work. Will it?
Okay,
Yeah, this will.
so,
No.
well, Moonlit,
No.
thank you. Thank you. I
No, it's fine.
appreciate you telling me that I have support. I'm a support main when it comes to Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. That's like my job.
Nice.
So I'm the support guy. But okay, so August, I gotta read this. So August says it made wait, so don't do what I did and
Okay.
get acrylics at first. That was your first step, August, was you got acrylic nails. And then August says, made my nails super duper thin and horrendous from acrylic. Also, they're more complicated to get if you don't know how to ask your nails to get done specifically. Um, they gave me like 2-inch overhang, super thick acrylics. I was terrified. Yeah, I would be too. 2 inches? 2 inches sticking off my nails?
Actually, that's actually quite a lot.
I'd be like, what?
Wow.
I would die.
You,
My key,
you
my
wouldn't know how to
keyboard,
do anything.
my keyboard would become a clicky keyboard
No,
immediately.
it wouldn't just become a clicky keyboard. You'd be hitting 2 or 3 keys at once.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You'd be hitting every key above what you meant.
I'm already not that great of a teammate when it comes to team first person shooter games. But with acrylic nails, I would be a worse teammate.
That's right.
Much, much worse. But okay. Where's okay, 2 inch over. My recommendation doesn't even need a nail tech, but I recommend it. Over 2 months ago, I got dip powder for my nails. It was clear,
Uh-huh.
not super thick, and sturdy enough to not easily bite. Now I've got healthy, no longer thin nails with good white ends, and I feel confident cutting them. I was dying with the
Mm-hmm.
acrylics. My nail cutter snapped before I manually cut them, but they look super bad. I understand.
Mm.
And my nails are pretty healthy and very strong because I take collagen. Collagen is something,
Ah.
like when um your body produces collagen up until you're the age of 30, and since I'm 29, I figured I'd start Get a
That's a good
jump
idea.
on it, you know. And so,
Yeah, that's smart.
but what that does is it does all the soft tissue repair. It like enhances your ability to repair your own soft tissue. So like all your internal organs, your skin, your nails, which I don't know if that's necessarily soft tissue, but it does give you a lot healthier nails, and they grow super fast.
Mm.
Which is why I had to quit biting my nails twice in the same week.
I see.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, your body stops producing collagen at 30. So I recommend it to everybody, to start taking collagen because now here's the thing. We're not professionals and we're not, doctors or anything like that. But I watched my brother when he got cancer and he had to have this like huge major surgery where they like opened up from like his chest to his waist and they
Mm.
rearranged a whole bunch of his guts and cut some of the stuff out, cut the cancerous stuff out, cut out a bunch of other stuff, reattach stuff where it wasn't originally
Mhm.
and then recover
Awful.
and the recovery for that they were like, "Oh yeah, you'll be here for a week." 7 days. That's the recovery time for something like this. It's crazy intense. They kicked him out after 4 days
Wow.
cuz he recovered that quickly. And when
Half the
I
time.
saw that, I was like, "What did you do different?" Like, and he's like, "I don't know. That so and so's mom told me I should take collagen because I have this, surgery coming up and whatnot." And so he did, and then that's how it worked.
Yeah, it should be like 3 months after getting all that surgery done, but yeah.
Yeah, but they don't
There.
want to keep you in the hospital if they don't have to, man. They want to get you out of there, you know. And I appreciate that. I don't like
Yeah.
hanging out in a
I
hospital any
appreciate that
longer
too.
than I have to.
Yeah, plus it's really expensive if you stay there for a long time.
Yep, yep. But the thing about it is they always like for
Yeah, and you can get more stipends, yeah.
there's this big there's they don't give you adequate pain meds after surgery anymore. Like it's hard to get good pain meds and to like adequate pain meds. But anyway, that's just the world
Mm.
we live in. So, hey Kendra, how's it going? It's good to see you.
Yeah,
August, thank you
it's
for
good to see all of you.
the advice
Advice
on
on
how to quit biting your nails. Yeah,
you need to get your
appreciate that.
fingers dirty.
Yeah, get your fingers dirty, get a bunch of grime
Get your
and
fingers dirty.
sand in there, and then try and bite them. Like, did
Yeah,
you ever get sand in your
and
mouth?
then go. Yeah, I've eaten scallops before.
Oh God. Yeah, real man. That's so true.
I know, right?
There's always sand
Every
in there.
time, every time.
Yeah.
I've never eaten scallops and not ended up with sand in my mouth,
Yeah, and you get
but
like
I still like
you
them.
get like one or two grains in your mouth, and it's so annoying because it's just like they
Yeah.
find their way in between your teeth, and then you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh man, this
Ah,
is terrible.
yeah.
Um, please
But no,
feel
I've had.
free to bug you with more details.
Mm,
I
what's life changing?
life changing non nail biter. All right,
Mm,
Kendra has been busy, busy, busy. I understand that. I also have been busy,
yeah.
busy, busy. It's life can get that way sometimes, but
Hmm. Yeah. Last time we spoke, Kendra, you were ramping up to get even busier. So
yeah.
I'm sure you've
Busy,
been quite busy.
busy, busy. Um, yes. So anyway, but yeah, so this is Don't Worry Wednesday. We are not professional therapists. We're not professional anything. Well, we're not professional doctors, lawyers, therapists, anything, advice givers. We're not a substitute for professional advice, but we will try and help in any way we can. Hopefully, we have some wisdom to pass along to you, and hopefully, mostly, what we can do is help you feel loved and encouraged, and that you're not alone. Because, like, seriously, one thing I've learned is that when we've got issues or something going on, there are other people going through the same thing, and maybe worse, right? And they used to
Hmm.
play this little game. They used to play this little game with us where they'd be like, okay, like if you could trade problems with the person next to you, you'd want your own problems back.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, because our own problems are familiar. But at the same time, sometimes you're struggling and it's hard to get through some of this stuff. So we're here and we want to talk about stuff. We currently have one topic that we can do. It's a question for Nyansai. Let's see. It's from Anonymous.
Is
And
this one that's titled "Friend in Need" done?
no. Maybe. I don't know. Um,
Okay.
but so was this one okay, no preference on attendance. So we can do this one. We
Okay,
can
cool.
totally do this one. And yes, Kendra, happy grandma's birthday.
Hmm.
91 is a long time to live on this earth, and I admire being able to
Yeah.
live that long. That's cool.
And
So
thank you, Kendra. We do need those topics. So, I mean, well, we don't need them, but we don't need you
we
guys to
always
suffer either. But we're happy to have them
yes,
if you give them to
please
us.
feel free. Go to don'tworrywednesday.com. Click submit a
If you have any
topic
worries.
and, fill it in. Or you can just type in the chat. We'd be happy to talk about stuff that you guys put in the chat here.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's basically it. I think
Yeah.
I covered everything.
Way to
Don'tworrywednesday.com.
go.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yeah, that's it.
The letter Chin.
Yeah, brought to you by the letter Chin.
Brought to you by the letter Chin and squeeze cheese. Mm.
Wow.
Yes.
Which one? We can't tell you.
Squeeze cheese?
Brought to you by, yeah, because we're not actually brought to you by any squeeze cheese company, but
We're not.
if we were pressed, can't tell you.
But I like squeeze cheese a lot, and so squeeze cheese gets me through the day sometimes, man. I'll tell you what. So
I
I
mean,
am
it's
brought
got
to you by squeeze cheese because
it's probably that's amazing. You're probably you probably get a major source of your protein in your diet from your squeezed cheese.
no, probably not actually.
It's
I
got to
think
have protein in there,
it's
man.
probably a major source of nast. Like all
Yeah,
kinds of chemicals.
probably
But
probably
it's
not the stuff
probably
you want.
really bad for you, but it's so good, man. Like I love
Hmm.
this stuff.
Hey, there might be some healthy probiotics in there for you, I guess.
There might.
Potentially.
It is funny because I remember talking to Kate, my friend Kate, and I was talking about squeeze cheese, and they're like her and her husband Tony, they're all like organic, like they
Yeah, yeah,
eat
yeah.
organic stuff and everything, and she's like, "You eat squeeze cheese? I'm gonna look and see if they have some organic squeeze cheese." I'm like,
Dude.
good luck, man.
I hope they do. Do they? Someone's got to have made an organic squeezed cheese.
I don't think so, but then a
To
friend
the
of
state,
mine
not yet, huh?
posted a picture. They were eating crackers and queso dip.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and they're
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Europe, and in Europe they don't have squeeze cheese, but they do have the queso dip.
Right, the
And I
queso
was
dip.
like,
That's great.
okay, I could go there and just eat that. I don't necessarily need squeeze cheese, but yeah.
Queso dip's pretty good. Was it you who used to go to our Taco Bell and order just a bunch of sides of nacho cheese?
Nope, that was not me, but that's a great
That's
idea.
not you.
I remember going and asking if I could buy a bag of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you did.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah. I'd be like, I don't like how much would it be to buy just like a bag of your nacho sauce? And I think the reason was because my ex-wife was pregnant at the time. And
oh,
and that's what she wanted. So
and
I was
she,
like, "Can I get like a bag of this stuff?" And they're like,
just a
I don't
hard pause
know."
there.
Like, how much would that be? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I'd have to pump it all out into containers, little containers, and see how many we
see
get.
how many. Oh, jeez. But I just
That'd
wanted
be
to.
awful.
I wanted the whole bag, and there was one time where we got it. I don't remember what the circumstances ended up
Nice.
being,
I
but
think it
we
was
did.
probably at my Taco Bell.
It's
Yeah, it
probably
must have been.
yes, because word got around, and finally they figured out a
Mhm.
way for us to buy, the big old. I don't know how much that was, like gallon or
It
something
was
of
so
that
much.
stuff. It was
Yeah,
great, man. We ate it all.
yeah.
The stuff's so good.
Hmm. Someone also came into our store and purchased a bag of Baja Blast syrup.
Ooh.
Just the syrup though, not like the drink, but just the syrup for the drink.
Uh-huh.
And they walked home with a bag of that, and I was like, enjoy.
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 Yes. Cool.
Yeah,
So, all right. Well, guys, welcome. It's great to see you all. I think what we'll do is we will start with this topic from the onside. How's that? Does that sound like a
that
good
sounds
plan?
like a good start.
All
Good
right.
plan.
I think that's what we'll do. So, I'm going to go ahead and put this topic up on the screen for you guys. And then you guys can read along while I read it out loud. How's that? Is it a good plan?
I think
Win.
that sounds like the best plan.
Plan for the
Hmm.
win. We're gonna do it. All right, cool. So here we go. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Can I get it up here? I can, cause I'm master producer guy. All right,
Produce.
all right. Here we go. And this is from Anonymous, and it's about endometriosis, and it reads as follows: This is a question for Neonsai. I have endometriosis, and it is ruining my life. I've had to be sent to the hospital where all they could do was pump me with pain meds. Been told if I take a surgery, there's a 60% chance it'll come back just as bad, if not worse than before. Pass out, throw up, bloat to the point I look pregnant, and am constantly in pain. I know you have it too, and I need some hope right now. I know God doesn't do bad things, but right now I want to scream and curse his name for all that's happening to me. How do you cope? I literally have no one who understands. My mom had a hysterectomy to get rid of it, and that was one of the worst cases the GYN had seen. My biggest struggle is I want to be a mom, and right now it feels like that life is slipping through my fingers. How do you cope? I know Ryan helps a lot, but I don't have a Ryan in my life. I need hope. And that is
Mm.
from Anonymous. So, Anonymous, thank you very much for the topic. And I'm really sorry that you have to deal with this. Man, like health problems like this are very, very difficult. But I'll tell you what, I understand what it feels like to be in so much agony that you want to just curse God or curse at God or whatever. And like, I can remember sometimes praying where I'd be like yelling at God. I'd be like, why did you make any of this? Because you get into the point where you're in such anguish and despair that, it's just like, why? And hopefully what we can do is help shed some light on the subject. Neonsai, I'm not sure how long Neonsai has been dealing with endometriosis, but I know that it's a real struggle, and I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say. I'm looking forward to learning more, and hopefully she can give you some hope. Um, so I don't know, Ryan. Did you have anything to say before we give it over to Neonsai?
No, I really don't. I mean, obviously, I think the best thing I can do is give it over to my wife because she actually deals with it. I can say a couple of things that maybe she doesn't mention. I can maybe go, "Oh yeah, and there's this," and then she can be like, "Well, it's not really relevant," and I'll be like, "Okay," but we'll find out. So I'm just gonna give it over to her because I think that's the best thing I can do.
All right, perfect.
Okay. Can you hear me? Am I
Yes,
loud?
you are. Yes, we can hear you. Great.
Okay, great. So, I'm sorry to hear about your endometriosis. I'm gonna read back the prompt, I guess, slowly, and comment on each section
Okay.
slowly so that I can address everything that this person is dealing with. Um, So they've said they've been sent to the hospital where all they could do is pump them with pain meds. So, about endometriosis, your cervix is home to 3 different types of what's it called? Nerves. So, if you do take pain medication and it's not working, it's because it's only blocking one of those pathways instead of all three. So a lot of the time you might find that pain medication is not working for you, and that would be the reason why. For me, no pain medication works, so I just don't even bother with it personally. I just put a heat pack, and honestly, it doesn't help super a lot, but it helps with the milder kind of pains. I put one on my front and my back usually. And I just want to say that, again, I have stage 4, which is like the worst stage, but it doesn't really mean anything in terms of pain. So even if you're at just stage 1 of endometriosis, your pain could be like 10 times, 1,000 times worse than someone at stage 4. All stage 4 means is that you have the cysts, like the endometriomas, basically these things on your ovaries or your uterus or around your, I don't know, inside of you that are like full of these blood sacs basically. And I've got like a few of those, even one on top of the other, which is funny. My gyno calls it a snowman. And I've also got my ovary is stuck to my bowels. So basically what endometriosis does is it creates these sticky lesions, and you can stick all your organs together and create a lot of pain, like your organs are pulling in all directions. It can make going to the bathroom really difficult and painful. So there's a lot of things that will 100% get worse over time. As time goes on, you will 100% have worse and worse endometriosis. So if you think it's bad now, it's only gonna get worse. That's basically how it works. It's just a degenerative disease. Is that what it's called? It just gets worse, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know what the terminology is.
I think you got it right.
So no
I
matter,
think degenerative is right.
yeah, no matter what you do, it's always gonna get worse. Doesn't matter. I'll touch on the surgery thing in a second, but it's just gonna get worse. So, in terms of pain, I have been told that if I took birth control, the pain would cease to exist, and I found that to be true. However, I want to caution a few things first. Number one, it took me a long time to find the right pill for me. The first birth control pill I took gave me 3 months of, I think it was 3 to 6 months. I can't remember now because it's been so long, but somewhere in between that range of bleeding every single day. And the problem was I lost like a lot of iron. I was iron deficient. I was losing hair. I was losing weight. And it just wasn't good to be bleeding every single day. You know, it's just not good for you. You get really tired and you get headaches. So my gyno was like, I really want this to work for you because I want you to stop having that pain. And I just gotta say, I don't get pain as bad as you do, even though I'm stage 4. So, once again, the stage, like how bad physically, like your endometriosis does not correlate to the pain you have, okay? So just remember that. Anyway, so I had to go on a different pill, so I switched. I was like, okay, I'll give another pill a go. Like I'm willing to try it, even though 3 months is such a long time for that to be happening. It's like imagine all the underwear ruined. It's awful. Anyway, so I took the second pill, and the second one made me. At first, I thought I was fine, but then I slowly started getting like really like depressed, and I'm not like a depressed kind of person. And I was getting like even like horrible, like just horrible thoughts, really depressed, made me go crazy basically, and like apathy central, and like really demotivated, fatigued, and basically I was just like, oh, and migraines. I had like a migraine for 8 weeks. Was it 8 weeks or 4 weeks? I don't know, but it was like a migraine for so long that I thought I had a brain tumor. I got an MRI. It was fine, but I got off that pill, and then about a month later, it stopped. So the migraine stopped. So it was all like hormone related. It was really awful, and I went back to the gyno. I'm like, look, those pills are making me crazy. I cannot deal with this. This is making me. But I just want to say that the pain went away. The endometriosis pain went away completely during those times. So the pill worked in that it took away your pain. And the way it works is that if your body is not producing estrogen, right? Because the hormones in the pills are fake. They're not real hormones. So when you take them, you're basically blocking your own body from making hormones. That's basically it.
Wow.
And it's replacing it with these fake hormones who are trying to kind of mimic what your natural hormones would do at a certain part of your cycle. But in women, you have different hormones released at different parts of the month. So it's like basically taking the pills, like hitting the reset button every single day. So it's pretty hard on your body. It's not good for you, honestly, in my opinion. Anyway, so the idea is you stop the estrogen from being produced. You halt all of your cycle, and basically that stops you from releasing your eggs, which stops your uterus lining from being what's it called, taken out by your period. So basically what happens during your cycle, I don't know how much you know about endometriosis, but what happens during your cycle is basically you have your period, okay? And then after that, your body starts rebuilding that tissue, okay? So it rebuilds the baby making tissue, I guess, in your uterus. But sometimes that tissue doesn't just build in your uterus, it builds on other parts of your organs. So it builds on your inside your abdominal cavity. It builds on like your ovaries. It builds on the outside of your uterus and stuff like that. So when your egg gets released and then it's not fertilized, your period starts to come around. And what happens is all of that tissue that's supposed to be inside your uterus that is also on like your abdominal wall starts to peel off.
Oh,
so you've got all this tissue peeling off your organs and everything, and that's why it hurts extra bad when you have endometriosis. Because, well, I mean, it's one of the reasons. I can't. Again, the pain is like kind of differs from person to person, but essentially, it's just a very sensitive area because of, like what I said, the 3 nerves like coming in all at once in one place, and it's just a lot to have all this stuff happening, and also the pressure on your abdominal cavity from like the blood that's coming out, and also it's irritating like your organs and stuff, and that's just making everything inflamed, and it's just like inflammation station. Anyway, I got derailed. I derailed myself. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, and then I got on the 3rd pill finally. And this pill was like amazing. It took away my pain completely. And like I was not bleeding. And it was perfect. The pill was unfortunately $100.
Per pill?
To have. No, it was for 3 months. It lasted 3 months.
Still.
But it's like the most expensive one. I mean, still, like $100
Right.
over 3 months is a lot.
It is.
Anyway, but it worked really well and it was awesome. But a few things happened over time, which was apathy crept in. I think fatigue, general fatigue, like not really motivation, and a little bit of headaches every now and then. And I'm not really the type of person to get headaches. So these pills kind of do mess with you. Yes. It's really lovely to not have your period, but also it makes other things more difficult as well. So yeah. So the pill is kind of like, it works for some women and for some it doesn't. I'm not on the pill anymore. And yeah. I haven't been for a year almost. Except for, with the exception of a few weeks ago I went on it again because I was on holiday and I didn't want my period to ruin my holiday. Because we were going hiking, and obviously you can't go hiking when you're dying. So I went on it. So I went on the pill to stop my period, but I was already kind of on it. So what I did instead was I ended up prolonging it. And now I've been
Mm.
bleeding for 3 weeks, even though I'm off it. And oh my gosh, it's so bad.
Oh my.
And I have headaches every day, and I'm
Oh.
so fatigued, and I can't do anything. I'm dead. Anyway, so the pill is an option, and it does work for some people, and for some people it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next, part 2 of the second sentence here.
Yeah.
You said you've been told if you take surgery, there's a 60% chance it'll come back just as bad, if not worse than before. So for me, I've been told that surgery, like, it'll pretty much always come back. A lot of women get surgery every few years to clear up their endometriosis. I would think of surgery as like a cleaning up the space option rather than a cure. Okay, so if you're dealing with like a lot of pain, then maybe it's time to clean up the space. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. It's better to have surgery when it's not bad. If you've got one lesion and they cut that lesion, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be so much easier than when you have 100 lesions and your organs are fused together.
Oh
And
my,
like what, they're
yes.
going to cut out a part of your bowel now?
Ugh.
They have to cut out like your organs because like it's gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think surgery is good, and I think that I haven't done it yet. I am going to do it for sure. I want to do it. I think it's really important, and the women I've known and heard about in my personal life who have gotten the surgery have always felt better afterwards, but it is a lifelong, like, you're gonna go back every few years to get it redone. You know what I mean? Especially if it's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of just a cleaning things up kind of situation, and it does really help them. So you say you pass out, throw up, bloat to the point I look pregnant. I'm laughing because that always happens to me too, like the pregnant thing. Like I bloat very easily, and you know what? I gotta say, yeah, a lot of endometriosis is very inflammatory. So if you are eating something or doing something you know is going to inflame you, avoid it, especially during your period or just before.
Start
Like,
keeping logs about what inflames you.
yeah, definitely keep track of what inflames you. Don't drink alcohol during this time, for example. If you're sensitive to dairy, avoid it. Nuts, gluten, fish, anything high in histamine. Avoid those if you have those sensitivities. Other things that you might be sensitive to could be, it could honestly be like allergy related stuff. So it could be the skins of fruits and vegetables. It could be like honey, for example. It could be preservatives. It could be, I don't know, there's like a million billion things you could be intolerant to. So anything you can avoid during or close, like the week before your period and on your period, if you can avoid those things, then that's gonna help you a lot, I think, because the less inflammation you have, the better, in my opinion. Yeah, for me, I always have like this thing because my ovary is stuck to my bell and the whole pooping thing is like really bad. I always take laxatives. Now, be careful with the laxatives because you can get laxatives that bring water into your abdominal, what's it called, thing, colon, which is great, but too much water there is going to take away from your system, which is going to dehydrate you and inflame you. So that's not good. And also, there are laxatives that give you contractions. You do not want that anywhere near your period because it's already contraction city up in there and you're gonna have a really bad time. So a week before your period, poop as much as you possibly can if you are constipated. if you're not pooping every single day, make sure you poop. And this is why. Because poop is the best way to get estrogen out of your system. Okay? And toxins as well. So if you're letting your poop sit in your colon for like days or weeks, you know, because hear me out, even if you're pooping, you can still have old poop in your colon for like weeks, if that makes sense, because it's not hydrated enough in there. So make sure you're going every day, because that is going to clear out your estrogen and make you a little less inflamed, and it's going to clear out all those toxins that are inflammatory as well. So, but if you're already pooping every day, don't give yourself diarrhea. That's just going to dehydrate you and make everything worse. So that I'm just saying that because I struggle with pooping. That's why. Because for me, it's like, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Can I add a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something like, if you have poop left over inside your body, your estrogen is being put into that poop. And then your poop sits in there, and then your body reabsorbs the estrogen from your poop.
Yes.
And because it reabsorbs it, you end up with more than you should have. And generally, obviously, that's what endometriosis is. It's an overproduction of estrogen. So you're gonna, if you can regulate your poop cycle and all that kind of stuff better, you're going to feel better. When my wife started kind of figuring that out, like from the moment she started paying attention to that versus all of the past years of experience with endometriosis, it was like 100, not 100% better, but like it was so much less pain. She used to fall on the floor and cry and just go fetal position and sit there like dying. And then she started working on this, and now, and without pills, she has the pain, but it's not so much that she ever keels over anymore, and she doesn't cry anymore. And so like I think for her it was a really big deal, a really big change. And so I just want to emphasize that, because maybe that's something that you're going through. So if there are maybe things you can do to mitigate your version, so try to pay attention to if you're reabsorbing your estrogen back into your body through your stool, or if you are if you can just kind of ease that situation by making sure you go to the bathroom more often, it could be really, really life changing, because it was for her. But I don't know if you're experiencing that at all, and so that's all.
Well, for me, I think the reason why I was life changing, because like it was very normal for me to poop like once every 3 weeks, and I know it's shocking to some people, but like that's just how it was. So I had like a lot of toxin buildup and stuff, and then now it's more like once every 10 days, and I know it's still terrible and crazy, but I try so hard to go every day. I drink so much water, and you know what?
You've been making improvements.
I've been doing
There's a 2-week
well.
period there that
Yes.
you were able to go once every.
Once every. There was a time that I did go once every day, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I felt so much better, you know? So basically, if you're backed up, you can get, what's it called? Fatigued, headaches, and you can feel nauseous. But also, it can affect your mood. It can make you feel very apathetic or anxiety or like depressed and stuff like that. So, that's just some things to know. So if there is something that's like crazy inflaming you that you might not know about, take care of that, because that's gonna make things a lot better for you. Yeah, and definitely look at diet if you are having a lot of processed foods, I say. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or having like a lot of abdominal issues, GI issues. Look into it and figure out like what's causing your problems. Yeah. Okay, now let's read the next part. Yes, you need some hope right now. Yeah, it's tough. I'm sorry. Yeah, unfortunately there hasn't been like I don't know how much research is being done on this, but they just don't even know what causes it. Like they just don't know. They just don't know how to fix it. They don't know what causes it, and they just don't know anything. So, yeah.
That's really
Hopefully,
frustrating.
yeah. Hopefully they figure it out. It says, I know God doesn't do bad things, but right now I want to scream and curse his name for all that's happening to me. I'm so sorry. It's awful. Yeah. I'm just not gonna comment on that part because I think I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I don't think any of them are helpful in this situation. So, how do you cope? I think it's not as bad for me as it is for you. I think pain-wise, for sure. So I think I have less to cope with than you do in terms of pain. You have no one who understands. Relatable, like understandable. Yeah, I totally get that. My mom had a hysterectomy to get rid of it, and it was one of the worst cases the GYN has seen. Yeah, I wonder about that because did that fix it for your mom? Because I have read stuff online that says a hysterectomy does not fix it for some people. I don't know. I don't know. That should fix it, in my opinion, but maybe I don't know. You would think so, right? Oh, but there is another thing besides endometriosis that can cause pain. What's it called? Instead of like endometrial tissue appearing on the outside of your uterus, it goes within the walls. It grows within the walls of it.
Oh wow.
And it gets trapped and stuff. Maybe you might have something like that.
Wow.
Because that sounds horribly painful to me. So. And it says, my biggest struggle is I want to be a mom. And right now, that feels like life is slipping through my fingers. Understandable. So the mom thing is a concern, and it is and it isn't at the same time. So I've heard this both online and from my GYN. When you get pregnant, it's kind of like taking the pill in that your symptoms should become much less for endometriosis. That makes sense. You shouldn't get as much pain. Though you'll have all, of course, the symptoms of pregnancy, which may not be any better in terms of like, well, they might
crying on the floor.
They might be. I mean, in terms of other things, right? Like you might get headaches or whatever. I don't know what pregnant women go through, but it's basically all the fixes right now are basically just what's the word? You're choosing problems. Which problems do you want to have? You want to have the ones you have, or you want to have different ones? I think that's a lot of it. So I wouldn't give up on being a mom, especially because getting pregnant might help with the symptoms temporarily while you are pregnant.
I have heard of one case from Diana, and I don't know necessarily how valid that is, but someone she knew had met endometriosis. She got pregnant, and her endometriosis never came back, which I don't. Yeah, that can happen? Okay. I don't think it's common, but it can happen, so very rare.
It's very rare, but it can happen. So pregnancy can. I don't know if it cures it, but it can make it way less.
Okay.
Way less
Yeah,
bad.
maybe it came back, but it was way less.
I think pregnancy is like this magical thing that can heal your body sometimes. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Took all the inflammation away or something. I don't know. It's a mystery, man. But it's also so that's the good side of endometriosis and pregnancy. The bad side is if you have endometriomas or anything like that, then you could lose your ability. Your eggs could basically be destroyed, which I think might be happening to one of my ovaries. But as long as you got one good ovary, that's what matters. So, I think that. Are we getting comments, by the way? I haven't been reading any of them, sorry. Anyway.
A few.
Yeah, okay. We'll address those in a minute. So, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, you could lose your eggs, so that's a concern. But I wouldn't be too concerned unless it's, like, directly affecting your ovary. But you can also have problems in your uterus as well, which is a cause for concern as well for pregnancy. So it kind of depends on the situation. Just because you have endometriosis doesn't mean like pregnancy is out the window and like being a mom is out the window at all. So don't give up on being a mom. You just gotta figure out like what kind of situation you are in, if that makes sense. Because you might have a lot of a lot of pain, but your ovaries be totally fine and healthy, and like your uterus might be totally like okay to like put a baby in there. If that makes sense. Yep. So how do you cope? Again, I think that's the second time you've asked that. I think that I didn't. I think that like when I'm going through the pain, I'm not really coping, am I? Like I'm just like dying basically, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But like when I'm not in pain, I'm fine. I'm thriving, having a great time, and I think that's just life, you know? Yeah. Anyway, so I say the cleanup surgery is great if you can get that all your little what's it called? Lesions removed and stuff like that. I'm hoping that if you do have lesions, they are the cause of your pain. Because it's totally possible for them to remove all the lesions and it's like not the cause of your pain because of the three-way nervous system thing. Yeah. But anyway, I don't want to suggest the pill, but I think I might want to suggest the pill at the same time. Trying it because it does make the pain go away. So, I think for you, that's the biggest concern is the pain here. You know what I mean? So, but then again, mental health is really important too. So,
If you're on the pill, obviously you can't get pregnant. Or, sorry, yeah. And if you're on the pill, obviously you can't get pregnant because your cycle is gone. But, I mean, at the moment, there might be other options other than the pill that help this, but generally it's going to be a pill, whether it's called the pill or not, whether it's meant to be a pregnancy blocker or not, one way or another. Forcing your hormones to stay in a static state rather than do your actual cycle obviously isn't good for your bodily health or mental health for long term, but it could be something that, now again, we're not doctors nor should we make suggestions, but it could be something that holds you off until you are in a predicament where getting pregnant is an option now for you in your life because you're married or something like that. Right? If you get what I'm trying to say. Just hold off the pain for a while and then get yourself together, figure out what causes your inflammations, figure out your bowel syndrome, bowel situations, and getting married and all that kind of stuff. Like you could try to get that stuff figured out first, and then get off of it. And like, okay, I know what now causes things more, so I'm going to be a little bit more healthy by getting off of it, continuing my cycle, but this time without the the inflammation stuff, that stuff I know I'm not supposed to eat, or whatever. You know, it might not be that for you, but I'm just trying to make suggestions, like figuring it out a little bit more before you go, and using the pill to help kind of give yourself a break while you figure it out. It might be a good idea. I don't know. Again, talk to your doctor.
Yes.
yeah, and I definitely say get multiple opinions if you can because some doctors just don't know what they're talking about. I suggest maybe even getting an opinion from a doctor or a nurse who has gone through what you're going through. That was an option for me. I didn't take it yet because I went to Japan. But if you are, yeah, maybe ask like your gynecologist, hey, is there like someone I can talk to, like a nurse or somebody who has gone through like the surgery that, or like who has gone through pain like mine, or someone that is medically like educated who has also gone through a situation you've gone through, I think would be very helpful, because a lot of what you've said kind of is the general consensus, is what people say, but it's also the fact that they told you it's 60% chance it'll come back just as bad, if not worse. I think it's more like a 99% chance it'll come back. Like, I don't, like, because it doesn't just go away, you know? Like, it just doesn't happen. So I don't understand why they're telling you that there's even a 40% chance that you'll be completely healed forever. That's just ridiculous to me. But I mean, it'll definitely get better for a time. But I mean, that's what I've been told. Maybe I've just been told something. Well, clearly we've been told different things. So, you know,
That's the point, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the general consensus. Everyone's confused and no one knows anything on this topic really. So, I think that with doctors, especially if they're not like up to date, and like gynecologists, I guess, and like super always like, what's the word? Always researching. It's like they read something from a textbook that's like the information is like 50 years old.
Even if it's only like
You know what I mean?
2 years old, it could be
Yeah,
so
but
far off
like,
from what we know now.
yeah, kinda. Yeah, exactly. So people are finding stuff out about this endometriosis thing every day. So yeah, I say do a lot more research and be a bit more educated. And I think that's honestly how I cope. Maybe it's like being more sure, being more like confident, and knowing exactly what to do in my situation. Because it's like, if you're just in pain and you don't know what's going on, you don't know why it's happening, you don't know how to fix it, you don't, you know what I mean? And you just have to deal with it, like being completely ignorant to everything, then that's like you have no control and it's just awful, you know? But I think that for me, for example, in my position, I have the choice, for example, because my ovary is stuck to my bowel, it's like if I go in for surgery, there's a possibility they'll take out some of my bowel. It just straight up is a possibility. But if I leave it, then that chance is gonna get higher and higher and higher, and it might get worse and worse and worse for me. And also on top of that, my endometriosis might pop at any time and like cause me like a lot of pain, and like maybe even go into sepsis if I leave it too long, right?
Oh my.
If it gets infected or whatever.
Right.
So it's like yes, surgery can be like scary, and it's like, oh yes, they can end up removing things, that sucks, but like if you leave it longer, it's only gonna get worse. Basically. So it's like, okay, surgery kind of sounds like a good idea. So yeah. So it's like we kind of have different but similar problems. Yeah. So anyway, I hope things get better for you. Yep. I don't know what else to say on this topic. I'm not a professional at this, so
Well,
anyway, I
you
hope
definitely,
you gleaned something.
you're like a professional at dealing with it. You've been dealing with
Well,
it for a while.
I feel like other women suffer so much more than me. Like I hear so many horror stories.
You know what though? Yeah, this is you and me though, because like I remember like one time. Okay, so this is just a good story in general because I feel like everybody else has lived so much of a harder life than me in many ways, like everywhere, in every possible way. And, I mentioned that to my brother once, and he was like, "What are you talking about, dude? You just don't focus on the problems so much that it makes your day and every week and every year horrible. You just go like, oh, this is my problem, but I'm going to keep it moving forward, and you don't care. The only reason you think you didn't suffer or you didn't have a bad life growing up, and trust me, you did, the only reason you don't think you did and everybody else's is worse because everybody else makes a bigger deal out of it than you. And just because they make a bigger deal out of it doesn't mean that theirs is worse. Now, obviously, we're talking about the physical pain. Obviously, you can be experiencing pain differently than other people, and that's true. But I wouldn't say that necessarily yours, sweetheart, is less severe or like you don't end up laying on the ground crying when you didn't you didn't have it managed, because you did. But I think you don't make as big of a deal out of it as like saying, oh, it's life ruining and it's ruined my life. Instead, you just suffer through it and you get back up and you keep going and you go, what am I going to do with my life? And then you go do things, instead of dwelling on it too much.
I think women genuinely actually go through a worse time than I do. Like, for realsies. Yeah, I think that. Because if you feel like it's life running, then it kind of is for you in that moment.
yeah.
Regardless of, like, let's say I'm actually going, like, physically going through worse, let's say. Like, regardless of it, it's like, it doesn't matter if someone's physically suffering more than the other person. It's like, it's kind of all about the mental state, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? If you feel like your life is being ruined, then it kind of is.
Yeah, okay, you got a good point there. That's actually very true. And that's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll read the comments now. Well, we'll all read the comments together, eh?
There were a few comments. August says fiber is great. I have lots of unclear GI issues, and fiber gummies have been great, though our Western diets just lack sufficient fiber. So that's what
Yeah, you just gotta have the water with it.
Yeah.
Eat lots of them beans. Them beans are great.
Them beans.
Eat beans.
Your Anonymous says there are also cases where endometriosis patients have been unable to get pregnant too.
Yeah, absolutely. That can happen if, like I said, you don't have eggs or your uterus and all that is in such a state where it just isn't. And also sex can be incredibly painful, especially like once again, like you have all this inflammation, you have all this problems and all this the three-way, what's it called, nervous system situation. Okay, it's all terrible, isn't it, really? So, but there are endometriosis peoples that can get pregnant. So don't, dismiss it completely just because some people can't. Doesn't mean you can't. And if it is a situation where you can't get pregnant, there are ways. The surgeries can help. I can tell you a story. So, my mother had a friend who had a boyfriend or fiance for like years. They were trying and trying and trying and trying, and she couldn't get pregnant no matter what, and she had endometriosis. So they were trying for years, and so they ended up breaking up. I don't know why, they just did. And then she got the surgery and got all her endometriosis cleared out, and she was like having this fling with this random dude. I don't even know if it was her boyfriend or what. Anyway, she immediately got pregnant with this random guy.
Whoa.
And he's like and she's like from Russia, and like he's from India, and and she couldn't work anymore in Australia, so her visa got canceled, and then she had to move to India with her baby, and they got married, and now they live in India.
Wow.
So do not doubt the process of the surgeries.
Yeah.
It can get you pregnant instantly.
It can't get you pregnant instantly.
Well, and
no more fooling around for you.
I mean, we don't know. Obviously, maybe the problem was with the guy in that situation.
Yeah, the problem could have been with the guy.
But you know, it is pretty common for endometriosis people to not be able to get pregnant. Sometimes, not common. Okay, sometimes. So anyway, so that's a possibility. It's true.
Mm.
Anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
it can happen. Definitely, I've heard that story a few times. So I mean, like in online, but I experienced it in real life too. So there you go. There's a possibility. And the surgery is like really not that bad in terms of like they don't have to like slit open your entire stomach. They can just like make little holes in the sides and in your belly button. That's so messed up. I hate that. But they can do that and then you won't see the scar if it's in your belly button. That's so gross. Anyway.
The belly button is sensitive. Like my belly button is sensitive anyways. Like I can't.
What? I can't hear
It's
Neonsai right
Alright,
now.
here.
I just said getting a hole in your belly button's so messed up. I can't even imagine it. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do. Yep. That's the end of my story.
All right.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Yes, thank you very much. That was very thorough, I think. And so hopefully, Anonymous, that's helpful. I don't think I can add much to any of that. I do really like the the logic behind, okay, this is an inflammatory thing, so anything else that you know of in your life that causes inflammation, avoid it. That makes a lot of sense, and it seems to me like your quality of life could get better, just in general if you're avoiding that stuff. And so that could be good advice for anybody, even if you're not dealing with endometriosis, to say, if you find something that causes inflammation, avoid it, right? And as always, drink more water.
But not too much because it can. Okay, here we go. But not too much water because it can take away your electrolytes and then you'll be all dizzy and sad. So you
Well,
need to make sure you have the correct amount of water and electrolyte balance.
right.
Thanks.
I don't know. I would just drink. When I
Wow.
was light on electrolytes, I would just drink a cup of salt water.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that. There's a great recipe for electrolyte water. You just take, I think it's like baking soda, squeeze a little bit of lemon or lime in there, and put a little bit of salt, and you got yourself like the perfect blend of electrolytes.
Uh-huh.
It's like when you're making a battery at school out of lemons. That's what you're doing for your body.
Ah, nice.
Oh, I have one more thing to
Oh,
say.
one more thing.
Okay, I have two more things to say.
Two more.
Number one, if you a good place to go to if you've tried everything and you don't know what to do is a naturopath. A naturopath who specializes in endometriosis. Okay? They're like the last final, like you give up everything else. Like you've tried everything else. The naturopath, I've heard, can help you greatly with your pain. So that's an option. And if you don't know how to track your cycles, if you don't know when you're gonna have your period, it just pops up on you. Okay, every month you will have your cycle, and you can record it in like apps like Glow, or if you want like a super accurate one, you can get, what is that? Like a little armband thing,
Yeah.
a drop,
Yeah, it is a drop.
something drop, and it can like measure your temperature every night and like it'll tell you where you're at in your cycle. But I mean, that's if you're like trying to get pregnant or avoid getting pregnant. I think like more like without birth control. But if you're just trying to get the idea, I think Glow app is great, or whichever, any kind of period app. Track it a week before your period starts. Poop as much as you can, as long as it's not dehydrating you. Just like be smart. Just poop once a day at least. Get it out, and yeah, stay away from inflammatory stuff. So make your body as inflammatory free a week before your period starts. When it starts, then still no more inflammation. And you know what? After that, maybe that's okay, but probably just avoid it. Just always avoid it. But especially during those times. Now, if your endometriosis is so bad that you're like having pains even outside of your period, that's pretty common as well. But for me, it's mostly just during my period. So, yeah, see a naturopath if you feel defeated. I guess. I miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neon Sai. Wow.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah,
And
great job.
Anonymous, hopefully that is helpful and can give you some hope. I can't relate to a lot of these struggles because I'm not female. So I'm really glad that Neon Sai is here and can share this and be helpful. So
Yeah.
thank you again, Neon Sai, so much. You're awesome.
Yeah. That was great. I mean, so much that neither of us would have been able to talk about. So I think it's really great.
And this important thing, and that is that I've never heard such a cute voice talk about pooping like that.
I know it happens every time we stream, man. You just need to come to our streams more.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Stop doing that.
We talk about all sorts of different things. It's just that at some point in time, we talked about it once, and then forever, people always bring it up in the chat, and we end up talking about it. They do it on purpose to us, yeah. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Yeah, nearly an hour and 20 minutes of uninterrupted Neon Sai. What a treat we have on Don't Worry
What a
Wednesday
treat.
for that, right?
I carried for you.
What'd she say?
Yeah. What'd you say?
I carried.
Oh, she says I carried.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes. You totally
certainly
carried.
did.
Yes.
Good use of video game terms.
Nice. So, Anonymous, thank you so much for the topic. And again, I hope some of this information can help you, can help give you some hope. You can always hope in the midst of some pretty crazy, nasty stuff. Now, I've lost hope many times in my life, and I know what it feels like to be hopeless and to feel that level of despair. And I'm sorry. I know it's a real struggle, but there is hope. We can always hope, and you have some options. Neonsai explained these things really, really well. So there are things you can do, but definitely talk to a doctor, probably multiple doctors, so you can get a few opinions and maybe treat it like a little game where like see how different their opinions can be. Because
that's the thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yep.
Yeah.
So Kendra says my topic is finished. Savage, what's up, Savage? Good morning. Ultron edits are fire. I'm guessing must be from Marvel Rivals, because Ultron is the new character that Marvel Rivals just released.
Is he anything like Ultraman?
He's a support hero.
Okay.
You know Ultron.
Well, I just want to know.
You know Ultron from the Marvel universe.
That's what I'm trying to ask. Is Ultron from the Marvel universe like
Yes.
Ultraman from the?
It's not Ultraman.
Whatever universe, Bandai universe.
Ultron. Ultron is an AI that was designed by Tony Stark, Iron Man, right?
Okay.
So yeah, and
See,
and so he's this robot, whatever, and he's AI, and yeah. Tony Stark and Banner. All right, and anyway, if you watch the Avengers: Age of Ultron, you see how crazy powerful and, like violent this guy can be, and he's a support hero. Like it's weird.
Wow. I have a question. What's the name of the character that in the movie series, probably not necessarily in Marvel Comics specifically, but in the movie series, they um accidentally create. It's another superhero they accidentally create. Tony Stark, and then everybody
They
else is in the room, and there's like crazy stuff going
Yeah,
on. They get into a fight, and then someone
that's
like,
him.
I'm
That's
born.
Ultron. That's Ultron.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Got
And
it.
it was an accident that he got activated.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about someone different then. Because who's he's
Vision?
like a super Vision. Vision. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mianglios. Vision is
Vision.
my favorite superhero because he's just like actually he's actually just like morally great.
Mm,
Morally good from all the things I've seen.
yeah.
Obviously, Captain America's pretty great too for that.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yep.
here we are on Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yes. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, where we go from endometriosis to Marvel Rivals.
There you go. Thanks, Savage.
Thank you. So yeah, but so Kendra has a topic, and are we? You want to? Are
I
you?
just finished processing
You
it.
did. Oh, fantastic.
I'm gonna put
I'm gonna
curated
reload
on
the
it.
tab here,
There.
and there it is. All right. So yeah,
I
let's
was I
do
was
this.
buying time with the whole vision thing because I was trying to process it.
No, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you so much, Savage. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for talking about all this stuff. This is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, so let's jump into Kendra's topic and do that while we've got a little bit of time. So Kendra,
let's
thank
do
you so
that.
much for the topic. And this is about nursing home. Okay. Let's see. So I will stop that move. Hey, see you later, Savage. Go
Yep,
play some
blessings. You too,
drums.
man.
Yeah, go play drums and study for exams by playing drums. The
Mm,
best way to study.
that is the best way to study.
Yeah. So, all right. So we've got a topic here from Kendra. Let's go do that. And I think Kendra, did you want to be here? Are you here still? I'm hoping you're still here. You did tell us your topic was finished. Um, and yes, all right. Cool. Thank
Great,
you. All right.
great, great.
So I'm going to put this topic up on the screen. It's about nursing home, and this is from Kendra. And here it is. It reads as follows. Recently, a few weeks ago, my grandma was moved into the nursing home after having to stay in the hospital for a few days. We had convinced my grandma to go to the hospital just to get checked out because she was getting confused about some stuff and just seemed off. Note, my grandma has diabetes, so we had to be cautious. After much debate between my mom and her siblings, it was decided for the best that my grandma would be moved into the nursing home. Although my grandma wasn't too thrilled, it was for the best. My mom and my cousin's wife, Anna, were taking turns before staying with my grandma after my grandpa died. They were helping her around the house and helping her with her medication. It was hard on both families because we wouldn't see my mom for a couple of weeks, and Anna still has one kid that is in high school and is in sports and stuff, so she couldn't stay there all the time either. What is nice about my grandma now being in the nursing home, I can see her much more often since she is in town now and not living on the farm my grandpa and her had lived on for 70 years. Grandma
Hmm.
hasn't really been complaining about living in the nursing home, just the food. The food is hospital food, so think bland. And I can't really blame her. And my grandma doesn't have to worry about forgetting to take her diabetes medication since the nurses give it to her for her. Also, now my mom can come home to eat supper, and then after my grandma has eaten at the nursing home, my mom will head over around 7 p.m. and visit with her for an hour or so and then come home. On the plus side, we can
Sure.
check my grandma out of the nursing home at any time to take her out for a meal or just go out to the farm for the day or just go for a drive. Like yesterday, June 3rd, my grandma's 91st birthday.
That's
We
great.
checked her out and took her to the Reader Church and celebrated her birthday there. The only thing that makes me sad is not being able to really go out to my grandma's house anymore other than to pick up some stuff my grandma wants, like pictures, clothes, shoes, etc. I'm going to miss the Thanksgivings, but I know the memories will stay with me forever. Wait. I'm going to miss the
Wait, he's
Thanksgivings, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, and birthday celebrations we would have out there. But I know the memories will stay with me forever. Like when we would spend the night at Grandma and Grandpa's place when me and my siblings were younger. I remember the one time I was staying there and sleeping on the couch, and a bat came flying into the living room, and I
Ooh.
covered my head with the blanket, and I heard my grandma asking me why I was still up, and I told her there was a bat. She yelled for my grandpa to get up and get the bat. My grandpa came out from the bedroom and walked slowly to the pantry and grabbed a broom and hit the bat on the ground, picked it up and tossed it out the door and said, "Go to bed." While my grandpa had been doing that, my grandma was in the living room with me screaming as the bat was flying around.
Oh my gosh, that is a scene. I love it.
I look back at this and laugh now, but at the time, I was screaming as well. I will miss being out there, but relatives and other will be able to stay out there when they come to visit during the holidays. Sorry this is all over the place, but I just wanted to talk about this. Thanks for reading, listening. God bless you all. Much love, Kendra.
Mm,
Oh, Kendra,
this is
thank you
good.
so much. Thank you so much for talking through all that. We're always happy to hear, the stuff that you have going on. Um,
Yeah. Oh, you have
so
such a life, it's great.
yeah, yeah. So, but that's I mean, I know sometimes a nursing home is like the best option. You know, um, uh, I'm trying to get the topic thing up on the thing, but I can't because it's like failing me. So,
Mm, of course it is.
but yeah, and it sounds like you're seeing that firsthand. Like it takes such a load off family members, when that happens. I can remember seeing sometimes people would be really really adamant about staying at their house and not going into a nursing home or not
Yeah.
going into a hospice place or something like that, um, or rehab place or whatever, assisted living of some kind, and it becomes really really hard on the family members that are
Hmm.
trying to take care of them, and there's so much to remember. There's so many things to deal with. There's maybe specialized equipment that needs to be moved into the house, and I admire people who want to be a caregiver to their family members for that, but holy cow, it can really, really, really put a strain on your life. And so that's why these places exist. Now there are good ones and bad ones. It sounds to me like your grandma's in a good one, and I appreciate that. I'm really glad to hear that. So, um, anyway, yeah, Ryan, did you have anything to talk about with this topic?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Kendra, thank you so much for submitting this topic. We love you so much, and you're such
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
inspiration, honestly. I love the way that you kind of describe your family. You guys are so tight, so close. I mean, it's really so amazing to me, so beautiful when I hear about people going out of their way to care for like their grandma or their mom or whatever as they get older. It makes me feel humbled because it feel like, wow, is that something I would do? I ask myself because sometimes, like it's just amazing to me, how caring people can be. And I love the idea of going, of her being closer by and actually being able to visit her and you guys taking her out for dinner and all that kind of stuff. I think that's great. And I love that her only complaint is the food. Um, I guess if I got older, I would definitely be the same way. I'd be like, oh man, the food here sucks. But everything else is great, but the food here sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go try to figure out how to solve that problem. I'm gonna like figure out how can I get in that kitchen. And I'm like just like literally, hey, could you just like run to the store to me. I'd ask my family to run to the store to me and for me and buy like some herbs and spices I can put on my food or something, and then I can sneak them on there. Um, just put a little bit of salt, a little bit of whatever sweet marjoram, thyme, whatever is gonna fit the meal. But that's what I would do probably. Which maybe you could suggest, maybe if she's used to cooking herself, or likes a certain cuisine, you could ask her if there's anything you could do for seasoning to buy her some seasonings for her food, and see if that would be allowed, because that's what I would do for sure. But anyways, besides that suggestion, I think this is really great. I know a couple of people in my family over the last couple of years have had needed assistant living. My dad, who my aunt took him in for a while, and I thought that's crazy because he was going through ALS and all of his muscles were failing on him, so he wasn't able to move, and he's a big guy, and so it's not easy to just push around and turn over on his back so you can wipe him down and all that kind of stuff, clean him up while he's sitting there, laying there. You need special equipment for that kind of stuff, and the nurses have it. So my aunt was incredible for doing that, and I was just surprised. Eventually, he did go into the nursing home though, and that was better. And it was better for him, for everybody, because I mean, the pain medication he ended up being on was nuts. So yeah, it was morphine like every hour. So it was bad. But anyways, it was good that he was there, and so much better. And then at the same time, unfortunately, my grandma was and still is experiencing some form or another of memory loss. And that's made it very difficult on the family because she doesn't want to move out of her house. She isn't in nursing home, and I don't know. Actually, I don't know if what the status is there. I haven't gotten an update in like a year, because I'm in Australia the whole time. All this is happening basically, but I don't know. Joe actually might be more updated with this information because he talks to my brother. But anyways, yeah, my aunt was taking care of her mom, and everyone agreed like she should be in assisted living nursing home or something, because literally she was like getting in her car and driving to the store, and then my aunt was tracking her phone, and then my aunt was recognizing my grandma's been riding in circles on this one path for like 3 hours. She's lost. She doesn't know how to get home. She doesn't know where she's at. Like she keeps on like making the same turns and never getting home for 3 hours. It's like she's gonna run out of gas, and then what's she gonna do? Like just walk off like randomly, and like who knows what, And it was really weird. So my aunt was freaking out, and that stress was constant on her for I don't know how long, just endless. And you could see the decline in my aunt's mental health over all of this kind of stuff. This is a different aunt, by the way. But anyways, yeah, it's not great. It's really bad. So all that is to say, I think it's so awesome that your grandma was willing, because when they say no and you can't push them, you can't force them, it is so hard on the family. And it is. And you mentioned that. It's like, why don't you come, like, even living with us would be better than me driving out to your home, but they're stubborn and they could be that way. And they're just like, no, I want to live here. This is where I've got everything. There's all my stuff's here. And, I can do all the stuff I'm used to doing, and I'm safe. And that's fair. And I understand that. And I would probably be the same way. But at the same time, it really is a load off of everybody's back to just go, you know what? I'm gonna go where they think I should go. So I think that's really good. I think that's really cool. And props to your grandma. Like seriously, mad props to your grandma for being willing to give up all that stuff and going to the nursing home, for basically everybody's benefit, including her own. But yeah, honestly, other than the seasonings, I don't think I have anything to add. I think if you could ask her like what kinds of things could make her food taste better that she could do, uh, like seasoning them up,
Mhm.
I think that would be a fun idea. And if maybe she won't know, but if she does, she might just say like salt. Please. Just salt.
Uh-huh.
You know, she might. But you know, the problem is that those areas are generally highly regulated and strict, and they don't allow you to have things like salt in your room because they're like, now we don't want you to overdose on sodium or something. It's like, I need my electrolytes. I'm drinking enough water. Get out of here, punk. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, that's all I got on that. Maybe I'll have some stuff later, but honestly, I think this is great. So, Joe, it's on to you.
Cool. Kendra, thank you so much. Like Ryan said, we really appreciate you. We appreciate you giving us updates in your life, and we've it's been just a great to get to know you over the last handful of years, as we
Hmm.
do this show, and as you've submitted some topics, and um I don't know, it's great to have you. Oh,
It's so
Tara.
lovely to see how close you are with your family,
Yes, yes, it absolutely is. Tara, I'm guessing, Tara, you're
Tara.
saying wow because you see Joe with a beard and glasses that you're like, that's not Joe because you've been in Don't Worry Wednesday in so long.
Facial hair jump scare.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
great.
I do enjoy having the facial hair. I like it. Um,
It looks great.
it gives me
You're
something to
pulling it off,
gives me
man.
something to comb, because I didn't have it
Hmm.
up here. I shaved that off a long time ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, yeah.
Yeah, you really do have a great head of hair. It's just,
Oh,
you know,
here.
but yeah, it's still in your head.
I mean, it's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Very welcome.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kendra, you remember the first time you posted in college at the time, and it was becoming a teacher, possibly. Yeah, I remember talking through some
Wow.
of these things.
Yeah.
I remember you going through a whole bunch of changes and how you were um, going to, try and decide what direction you wanted your life to go in, and it's always funny to me because a lot of times in school we just kind of get we just get promoted college so much, and it might not be what's right for our career, might not be what's right for what we want to do with our lives. But it's like, I don't know, I feel like the school system is like higher education salespeople.
Well, and they're selling it to you for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, but it's
Eventually,
like,
you get sold out.
but no, but they don't ask, what do you want to do? I remember talking to my
That's true.
I think I was talking to my parents, and one of my sons, he's wanting to be um he wants to be a YouTuber, he wants to be a musician, there's different stuff that he wants to do, and none of what he wants to do has a college program.
Mm.
But it's still like, my mom was a professor at a community college. My dad was very, very academic. He ended up being a chemist. And he was valedictorian of his high school class. He was, like, he got 2 degrees in 4 years at a college and all this kind of stuff. But it was so funny to hear them talk about, like, I was telling him about what he wanted to do, and they're like, well, geez, well, maybe he needs to go and study like video production or blah 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 blah. And I'm like, maybe he needs to not go to college. And it was like that.
It's like you
Like,
just
it's
opened up a
almost like this
can of.
disconnect, like this, like, it's crazy, like, like, how dare you, not go to college? And I'm like, whatever. But yeah. So okay, so we got some comments. Tara says only royalty can see the king's hair. Haha. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Kendra. Now I'm trying to figure out. Kendra says now I'm trying to figure out how somehow to be a teacher without taking the praxis exam. The town I am
Oh,
in needs teachers. I might be able to be one if I have a bachelor in art. Um,
ah.
That's definitely possible. Tara says, my biggest issue with higher education for my generation, at least, is that we haven't really had any stable moment in time since graduating to dedicate to college. You're absolutely right. And so, I really encourage people to take a year and figure it out, or
Mhm.
2 years or 10 years or whatever. Because here's the thing, I was a really good student in high school up until my senior year when I didn't care anymore, right? Like, but I was really good. I got really, really good grades. And then I go to MSU my freshman year of college, and I basically flunk out. I had a 0.06 grade point average, which is failing. I was on academic probation. I had a nervous breakdown, all this kind of stuff, because I wasn't into what I was being told I needed to study, right? And here I am, a musician. I was like, I want to be a rock star, all this blah 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 stuff, and whatever. A friend of mine did not go to college for a while. He lived the low key rock star life for a while, and then he decided a handful of years later that he wanted to study nursing, right? And he wanted to go into that field, and he had a passion for it. It just was something that he discovered in himself. And this was like, he was like 5, 6, maybe 8 years from graduating high school, and he hadn't done anything in college or whatever. And I don't think he was that good of a student in high school, but he went into the nursing program because he had a passion for it and because he knew he wanted to do it. He was acing every single class and passed with flying colors and did great. So higher education, to me, like college, university, all that stuff, really only works well if you know what you want to do with it, and you have a passion for it. Then you're gonna nail it. Haley, who was on stream with us before, like when
Mhm.
Ryan was gone, she's the same way. Like, she was a tremendous student, and she knows what she wants out of college. And she's running after it. And it's no surprise that she's doing great. She just graduated with her bachelor's degree. She's taken a year, I think, off to just work and all that kind of stuff. And then she's going to go back. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's going to med school eventually. But anyway, I don't know how we got onto higher education with all this stuff. We're talking about nursing homes.
Talking about the very first topic that we remember
Oh, the
from her.
first Kendra's first topic. That's right. Thank you.
Mhm.
So Kendra says, and then the school would pay for the rest of the classes and need to be an art teacher, but that means spending money to go to school again. And I already have a lot of debt. I understand that. Kendra, I could do online,
I
which
have
is
a
cheaper, but I don't do well with online classes. Did some over the summer,
I
didn't
have a
do well.
recommendation.
You do.
I do have a recommendation, but it's not necessarily a solid one, but it is technically possible. If you can get yourself to be just a person that comes in not as a teacher, but helps the school with what is it? Like their sports program.
Uh-huh.
You might just get squeezed in as a teacher at some point. Because they do that. I've seen it multiple times. Someone comes in to help with like the school. Like I saw someone who came in just to help with the band program.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a college anything, and then like they ended up talking to a couple of the like getting to know some of the like the teachers there and the principal because they were there at the school all the time because they were trying to help band kids with stuff, and they needed to talk with the other adults, and then all of a sudden they're like being asked to substitute like when there was no people, and they're like okay, I guess I can do that. I'm not a teacher. I don't know what to do. They're like, oh, it's easy, just go in there, look at what they got and do it,
Uh-huh.
and then next thing they know, they're like, hey, I didn't sign up to be I didn't sign up to be this teacher, but now I'm the teacher here, so I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's impossible, it's the route that you should take, or that it's a guaranteed in, but I have seen it more
Yeah.
than once.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen people like to be an engineer, you're supposed to get an engineering degree and all this kind of stuff. I know a guy that, just went and started working at a factory and then became an engineer. Didn't do any schooling or nothing.
Mm.
He just showed promise, and because he knew that factory well, he just eventually became an engineer. I mean, he was a hard driving kind of guy anyway, right? But you can do anything. You can do
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
This whole push for higher education, like is like it's just what you do. Like that's garbage. Because there's so many things. Tara says, school, wait, where was it? Recommend trade schools and certifications, even though they're more difficult and need to be renewed. That's true. They do need to be renewed, but I don't know. I don't know if they're more difficult or not. You know what I think is difficult is going in and trying to study something that you're not all that interested in. Or
It's
you
very
you might
difficult.
be, or you might be. See, in my case, when I went and majored in music at Michigan State, I love music. Music was, and it was my life, everything to me. It was everything to me when I was getting out of high school and going on. And then when I discovered, when I got to MSU and started focusing on music, you'd think like that would be great. Like I'd be just all into it. But what I recognized was the only outcome for this was going to be teaching. And I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a professional musician. And the only end to the road I was on was being a teacher. And I discovered that I lost all passion. And not only that, but I kind of didn't even like music anymore. Because
I
to
kind of have my
me,
brother too.
yeah, well, it's crazy because
With
it's just
with
like
math.
they it's almost like they when you're going and you don't have a passion for the destination you're shooting for, it'll suck all the joy out of learning. It'll suck all the joy out of whatever it is you're trying to do, and you will start to hate it, and you'll start to resent it, and you'll start to get embittered by it, and then you don't do well. You know, it's crazy to me. Um, but yeah, school definitely is one of the few places where you can apply Grandpa's wisdom of I just picked up a broom and started sweeping.
Great.
Yeah. Um. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Kendra says I could give art classes at school property, but I need the proper space to be able to do that. Gotcha.
Mm.
Um. Yeah, and you're right, Tara. A lot of good jobs will pay for your recertifications. Like if you go get a job, and they need you to go get training or whatever, a lot of times they will
Yeah.
invest in your training for you, you know, because they see a return for you being an employee for them, right? If you get this training, you're going to increase their ability to do business, which is really cool. But I don't know. Um, Oh, and also, yes, they are more valuable than many degrees due to the need to constantly update your education rather than rely on a 3 to 5 year out of date information. You're absolutely right. Because everything changes. Like if you're getting a certification, you want to get a contractor's license. Those codes change all the time. Things get updated, new laws, new everything. So you got to get retrained, recertified, all this kind of stuff. You have continuing education your whole life. And really, that should be our lives anyway. We should want to learn new stuff. And a lot of us do. Right? But you can learn on YouTube. How do you do this thing? Yeah, I'll watch a YouTube video. How do I fix my car? Watch a YouTube video. Didn't your brother do that, Ryan?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
did that.
I remember talking to your brother about that actually, where I was just like, I remember talking to him. And he's really, really smart. He's super smart. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, my car's broken. And I'm like, well, you can fix it. He's like, no, I don't think I can fix it. I'm not a mechanic. I'm like, dude, have you ever met a mechanic? I'm telling you, dude, you're at least as smart as a mechanic. Because he
Right.
is. And I know he's built computers before. And I'm like, really, what you're dealing with, it's really all that, building, you're dealing with screwdrivers, you're dealing with all this kind of stuff. It's like very, very, mechanical. But, all these things are not foreign to you. It's just a matter of applying it in a vehicle. And then he was like, oh, well, that just makes sense. And so now, then he started like digging into all kinds of crazy stuff and figuring out how to, you know, he took half his engine apart and put it in his oven one time to replace a crank on something. And it's just like, and his wife's all
That's
like
right.
frustrated because part of the engine is in her oven. She wants to cook food, but he's cooking car parts, you know?
Amazing. I love that.
Yep. That's hilarious. But yeah. Oh, Kendra says, that's how I learned how to sew certain things. I looked it up on YouTube. My Auntie Lou isn't around anymore for me to ask her, so I go to YouTube. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
Tara, if you sit down with some good music, be willing to cry a lot and start to pore over every little bit of information for the next month, fixated on one topic. Yeah. Man, I tell
I
you,
yeah, go
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 ahead.
on. I was just saying you were mentioning the what are they called, zoning laws, whatever, those changing the contract laws.
Sure.
And I remember I got scouted once. I was doing inspections, and I ended up running into this guy twice, who actually is one of the people on the board that sets those laws. And he was like, "Dude, you should come. You should just like come on. We just like literally show up. I'll hire you right there." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, seriously. It's an easy job too. You just kind of sit in a chair and like, yeah, you got to read like a ton of paperwork, but it's like super easy and you just kind of talk about how things should be, and then you figure it out and like you set the laws and you're done." And I'm like, "That's amazing." He's like, "Come, I'm serious." Like, and I was like, "Well, I'll think about it," but I never did it. But that would have been an interesting journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who you meet really does change a lot,
Yeah.
in terms of, yeah. I mean, Yancey said it, and we mentioned it. If you meet the right people at your school and you get into a relationship with them, and mention like that you're interested in teaching a lot, you'll probably find an opening because they'll be like thinking about you when an opening happens, and they're like, "Oh shoot, we don't have anybody. Oh, what about, she's super nice, Kendra, what about her, and then they'll think about you and they'll give you a call, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yep.
yeah, we're trying.
Yeah. It's interesting, all these little things about life, that we run into. We started this topic about grandma being moved into a nursing home. These are different life issues, and we go through these things on Don't Worry Wednesday. We talk about issues that we might be struggling with. We talk about good things too. Kendra, you have been so great at sending us updates on like positive things that are happening in your life, and it's wonderful. And
Hmm.
there's emotion in all of these things sometimes, and it's just crazy. But you know here we are, we're in this world trying to figure things out. And I remember going through this crisis of existence, after my divorce and all this kind of stuff, and praying like, God, why would you make any of this stuff? And then I'm trying to figure out the purpose for existence itself, not just my own life. It wasn't just an existential crisis, which is, where you're like trying to figure out the meaning of your own life. I didn't even
Yeah.
care about that at all. I was trying to figure out the meaning of life in general. Like, why even start all this, right? And what I finally came to the conclusion was, well, it's not for me to know. I don't think I can even understand if I tried to understand
Yeah, that's
the
probably true.
meaning of existence itself. It's like, so okay, so I'm not supposed to know that, and even if it was explained to me, I probably wouldn't understand it anyway. So here I am, and I can't change it. Can't change the fact that I exist. You know, here I am. My belief system says, we are everlasting beings. We just change form at death. And we become spirit, at least for that time, before eventually we get it, our glorified bodies, whatever. But the point is, from the time I came into existence, I'm going to exist forever in some way, shape, or form. And I can't change that. I exist. So then it was like, okay, so if I'm not supposed to know the meaning of all of it, and I wouldn't understand it anyway, here I am. I can't change the fact that I'm here. What can I do with it? What am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and argue with God all day, or am I going to like sulk and be sad? No, there are times for being sad, all the emotions. There are times we go through depression. There are times we have anxiety. There are times we doubt ourselves significantly. There are times when we might fall in love and everything's like butterflies and great and wonderful. And then, there are times when we might be mad at our brother and, wanting to fight him. And, we go through all these experiences. And I'm like, what's the point? Well, all these things are enriching. If we didn't have the lows, we wouldn't appreciate the highs. Not as much anyway. If everything was a high, then we wouldn't appreciate them as much. But here's the thing. Sometimes the lows, that's where you discover who you are. That's where you learn the most. That's where you gain the most wisdom when it hurts. That's where you find out the most about yourself. And also, if you treat it correctly, you can figure out how to heal. And not only that, then once you discover that, you can help another person. So it's amazing. Wow, Tara, you're very talkative.
Tara's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tara, it's great.
Saying good things too.
Man, yeah. So many issues are interconnected, and it's awesome, to be honest. You could get bummed out, and there are so many issues that affect each other and seemingly huge. I like the idea that maybe fixing one fixes another. I think that's true. Sometimes when you fix an issue, it can fix another one as well.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you fix one note of a huge nest of problems, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, then I just had to fix the root of it. Now everything else is kind of pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Yep.
And that happens from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we live and we learn, and that's one of the things. One of the reasons we do this is because we want to learn about you guys, and we want to see if we can help. We want to see if we can assist. We want to see if we're all stuck in this life together. We might as well be good to each other. We might as well care for each other. Might as well invest in each other and try and do good. And in all of it, we will gain wisdom and experience. And we can grow closer together, and it can be awesome. So I don't know where all that came from, but there it is. There's bearded Joe on the microphone on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Also, God, why did you make private equity firms? Oh, my. So, yeah. Anyway. Nice rapper name? What? What's the rapper name? Bearded Joe?
Bearded Joe
on Wednesday?
Does Bearded Joe sound like a rapper name, or does it sound like a...
Bearded Joe on the mic. Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Nice.
All
Sounds
right.
like a bluegrass name to me. Bearded
Yes.
Joe.
Yeah. See you later, Kendra. Yeah.
Thank you. God bless you
Thank
too.
you for coming in. Thank you for the topic and everything. And actually, now it's time for us to get done anyway. So,
yeah.
Perfect. Tara, it's great to see you again. But guys, so here we are on Don't Worry Wednesday. I actually will not be here next week. I don't think. In fact, I'm pretty sure, because my summer parenting schedule starts next week. And so I'll be doing something with my two boys. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it will be time that I have. And, my time with my kids is limited. So, so I take those opportunities when I get them. Yes, I'm glad to introduce you to the beard. But Yes. So I don't know, Ryan, I'm hoping will be here.
I should be.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. I got quite a bit of it's not actually gonna be that long. I've got some setup to do so that I can actually produce the show, but um I'll make sure I spend some time doing that before next week
Mm-hmm.
so that I can do a show.
Cool.
And so if anybody wants to fill in for Joe, who's here right now and willing for next week, please let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can hit Ryan up on
That's-
Discord. Most of you guys that are here probably know Ryan's Discord. Um
Mm.
and yeah. But it's great. I love you guys. I love being here. I'm gonna miss you next week. But yeah. We'll see you the week after that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Don't Worry Wednesday. Again, we're not professionals. We're not professional, therapists. We're just here to help in any way we can, but we're not a substitute for professional advice. And we many times will recommend professional advice, like we did with the whole endometriosis thing. Go see a doctor. Go see a few doctors, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not a
Yeah,
substitute
so
for that at all.
there's an unfortunate amount of confusion in that industry. I mean, I've heard a lot of different things people say, and I think part of it is that it's not all the same.
Sure.
Not everybody's experiencing the same thing. But anyhow, yeah.
Yep. So thank you guys.
So see more than one therapist, even potentially.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. If you get one that you're not jiving with, or it's telling you some weird stuff, and you're not moving forward, it might be time to change therapists, because there are a lot of interesting ones out there. But anyway.
Yeah, and their method might work for some people and not for you because of your different personality and intentions. I mean, it can happen. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good.
Go ahead and close the story. I'll be quiet this time.
No, don't be quiet. Be loud. That's great. Good job.
I was proud of that one.
Yeah, I was proud of you too. All right. Yeah, you came right at the end, Wix. Welcome.
Wix.
But
welcome and thank you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in. And so yeah, until next time. Next Wednesday, guys. Come back where Ryan will be here with a mystery guest.
Yes.
It'll be great.
That's right.
Yep. And we'll see you guys again soon. And until then, take great care of yourselves and the people around you. And we love you guys. We will see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. Have a good night.
God bless y'all. Love you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.